Maybe the fake news is changing.
Unleashing energy production.
Yeah, unleashing energy production. We'll go to jail for a long time for doing that. What's this one?
That's unleashing American energy, sir. It relates to easing permitting processes and other regulatory systems to ensure that we can produce energy efficiently to drive the American economy forward.
President
Trump. In a series of early executive orders, President Trump dismantles key environmental and energy initiatives, including terminating the Green New Deal, halting wind energy leasing, and pausing the disbursement of funds for electric vehicle infrastructure and industry adoption. These actions risk solidifying China's position as the global leader in green energy, as Trump's policies once again prioritize fossil fuel interests, seemingly aligning with the agendas of not only these powerful industry lobbyists, but also with the interests of America's adversaries seeking to displace her as the world's foremost superpower. Furthermore, his withdrawal from international agreements like the Paris Climate Accords and the World Health Organization creates a leadership void on the global stage, a void China appears poised to fill, bolstered by its aggressive investments in renewable energy and sustainable technologies. Let me read some excerpts from Trump's executive orders, but before we dive in, if you enjoy this video and want to support the channel, don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Your support means a lot, and it also helps promote these progressive messages to the YouTube algorithm, which helps its amplification to reach even more viewers. Alright, the first of the executive orders by President Trump that I'm going to read from is called Unleashing American Energy. I'm only going to read the sections of the executive order that pertain to Trump undoing the green energy initiatives that were put in place by former President Biden. Part E, to eliminate the, quote, electric vehicle mandate, end quote, and promote true consumer choice, which is essential for economic growth and innovation, by removing regulatory barriers to motor vehicle access, by ensuring a level regulatory playing field for consumer choice in vehicles, by terminating, where appropriate, state emissions waivers that function to limit sales of gasoline-powered automobiles, and by considering the elimination of unfair subsidies and other ill-conceived government-imposed market distortions that favor EVs over other technologies and effectively mandate their purchase by individuals, private businesses, and government entities alike by rendering other types of vehicles unaffordable. This is honestly just a brazen and full-throated rejection that fossil fuels are doing anything to contribute to the increasingly frequent extreme weather events that are induced by climate change. It's a repudiation of reality, which seems to be an ongoing theme of the second presidential term of Donald Trump. His government is establishing the reality, regardless of what reality actually is. Section 7, terminating the Green New Deal. Part A, all agencies shall immediately pause the disbursement of funds appropriated through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, Public Law 117-169. He even addresses that it's actually a public law. It's not an executive order that he's just overruling, since now he has the pen of the executive. Just a rejection of reality. Okay. Or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Public Law 11758, including but not limited to funds for electric vehicle charging stations made available through the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program and the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program, and shall review their processes, policies, and programs for issuing grants, loans, contracts, or any other financial disbursements of such appropriated funds for consistency with the law and the policy outlined in Section 2 of this order. Within 90 days of the date of this order, all agency heads shall submit a report to the Director of the NEC and Director of OMB that details the findings of this review, including recommendations to enhance their alignment with the policy set forth in Section 2. No funds identified in this subsection A shall be disbursed by a given agency until the Director of OMB and Assistant to the President for Economic Policy have determined that such disbursements are consistent with any review recommendations that have chosen to adopt. Former President Eisenhower, a sane Republican president, instituted the National Interstate Highway System, and President Biden was trying to electrify it by putting electric vehicle charging stations on it, and Trump just said no. How does the removal of electric vehicle charging stations across the United States, how does that help the average ordinary American? It doesn't. I expect that this second administration by Trump is going to be just another giant gift to the fossil fuel industry, just like his first term was. Alright, this second executive order is titled Temporary Withdrawal of All Areas on the Outer Continental Shelf from Offshore Wind Leasing and Review of the Federal Government's Leasing and Permitting Practices for Wind Projects. This one will be pretty quick since this one paragraph encapsulates the entire executive order. Under the authority granted to me in Section 12A of the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act 43 U.S.C. 1341A, I hereby withdraw from disposition for wind energy leasing all areas within the offshore continental shelf, OCS, as defined in Section 2 of the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act 43 U.S.C. 1331. This withdrawal shall go into effect beginning on January 21, 2025, and shall remain in effect until this presidential memorandum is revoked. This map gives you an idea of what is this outer continental shelf area that he's talking about. So it's largely around Alaska here, and then parts of the West Coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and the East Coast, as well as some of the other major and minor territories the islands owned in the South Pacific. So he's replacing the wind energy programs on this outer continental shelf so that he can drill, baby, drill. China is the leading manufacturer of solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicle batteries, electrolyzers, and heat pumps. The nation also dominates the production and export of rare earth elements and other critical metals needed for renewable energy technologies, electric car manufacturing, and batteries, accounting for 70% of global rare earth ore extraction and 90% of rare earth ore processing. The Chinese leaders must be very happy with these acts of submission by Trump to his masters of the old fossil fuel energy infrastructure. But they'll have to wait as much as we do to see if these executive orders are in fact struck down in the courts, but many experts believe a lot of these orders pertaining to the reversal of former President Biden's green energy initiatives like these will not be overturned. So we can expect China to continue their dominance of this new green energy paradigm, while Trump and MAGA tell us to deny our eyes and believe that these increasingly frequent natural disasters are not caused by climate change, while they ravage the nation and cost us hundreds of billions of dollars in damage, like the recent LA wildfires that now have an estimated price tag of $250 billion in total damage, making it roughly twice as costly as Hurricane Katrina, which was heretofore the most costly and destructive natural disaster to ever happen in America. I guess it's a normal Tuesday. President Trump now seems to be completely subservient to the fossil fuel corporate tyranny and is helping move China closer to its goal of displacing the United States as the global hegemon. For those of us that actually want to keep America as the world's foremost superpower rather than helping precipitate the displacement from her current hegemonic status like MAGA does, we must keep up the fight in becoming leaders in developing world-leading renewable energy infrastructure. We all know that fossil fuel-controlled Trump and his MAGA minions are incapable of doing it for us. So in this fight, stay informed and stay vigilant, fellow freedom fighters. Also support me on Patreon to help me keep this channel a purely independent media outlet, untrammeled by corporate interests. Thanks for watching and see you next time.